Hey there guys, it's Nick back with another special video. I have spoken to the lovely Christina Cruz, who is the recipient of this figure, and she has given me permission to open it up and review it due to the public outcry that I had not already done so. But yeah, today we'll be opening up Proxima Midnight, seeing if there's anything special installed for her aside from those double jointed elbows, which is already kind of breaking news around the Legends community and causing everybody to faint all at once. So hopefully you're in a safe environment when you watch this review. Please make sure you're sitting down. I cannot be held liable for any damages that occurs to your person during the rest of this video. Ye be warned. Before we crack her open, we'll take a quick look at the box like always. I'm sure there's really nothing special about it. Same window box design as we've seen with every Legends for the last few years. Got the A for the Avengers Infinity War logo on the top. And then on the back, just like I said yesterday with Taskmaster, I think a lot of them in their HD promo shots look a lot better. Even Shardamus mentioned in his most recent video, the Taskmaster that they announced didn't quite look the same as the Taskmaster that we got, and that's pretty much the same with all of them. I think Songbird and King Cobra look pretty good though, but hey, nothing's perfect. You've got Proxima on the sides there, nice art for the movie. Yeah, let's crack her open and see what's going on. And here's her cheeky bio if you want to take a moment to pause that and give it a read. I just wanted to quickly address something from yesterday's video. One commenter said that I should have at least tried to put the Udon Taskmaster head onto the new body even after the old one didn't fit. I guess just for a visual representation, here's what that would look like. And it looks cool because I think I like that skull, I like the body, but it does not fit properly as it is right now. I think the neck is definitely too long to kind of pass it off as part of a display. But if you're happy, go ahead and do that. Personally, if you were going to keep it like this, I would likely Dremel the inside of the hole in the head out so that it would fit more snugly and so the neck isn't quite as long. But as it is, it will fall off. So I'm personally just going to go ahead and leave it with the head that it came with. But I hope that clears everything up for you. Okay, and here is Proxima Midnight out of the packaging, and I'm happy to say that she's a pretty cool figure. I very much like her design. I think it looks good. I'm very happy with the double jointed elbows, which I will get to very shortly. And of course, nothing's perfect. There are a few gripes that I have with this figure, which I will get to. But first and foremost, I just want to quickly go over the staff that she comes with. It is actually quite soft out of the packaging. It was quite bendy. I thought I was going to snap it at first. Obviously, I'm trying to be very careful because this is not my figure. I don't want to break it. It's obviously cost-cutting on Hasbro's part. It's quite bendy. You know, I think if you kind of warped it in place, you probably heat it up a little bit, maybe with a hairdryer or some hot water, and kind of get it back. You can see here the trident tips are a little bit kind of curved out of the box. That might need to be a little bit of heat to kind of straighten it out, but for the most part it looks pretty cool. I don't think this is the exact same design as the one that she had from the comics, but obviously the film and comic versions aren't always usually the exact same. But in any case, it's a nice design. It's a pretty flat gold color. There's no shading or any kind of deco on it at all. It does have kind of a nice little sculpt design here. Got little ridges there, little points there. It's nice. It just would have been probably a little bit better if it was a bit more firm, and a little bit of deco would have been nice. Maybe a little bit of a gold dry brush or maybe even a silver dry brush. But again, I wouldn't expect Hasbro's budget to be blown on just the one figure. But that's her staff. Now, she also does come with the torso part of the Thanos Build-A-Figure. I don't have all the parts to Thanos. I will not be building Thanos, so all the comments asking me to build it, I'm sorry, I don't have all the parts. And as I said in the video yesterday, the stores that were selling these have pulled them because they weren't meant to be for sale until next month. So yeah, hopefully someone else picked them up and they're going to do a review, but I will not be, unfortunately. So the torso part looks, it's fine. There's really not a lot going on. I've got to be honest, I think this Thanos Build-A-Figure is a little underwhelming personally. The head sculpt that comes with the Chris Evans Captain America looks a little shonky, so I'm calling that the Goofy head pack, since the Goofy head pack that also comes with the Chris Evans head. But yeah, that's that there. And also, I didn't mention the leg from yesterday that comes with Taskmaster. Again, it's fine. There's not really a whole lot going on here. You got some nice little kind of silver and gold on the knee pads there, like a little V gold thing coming down there on the leg. But yeah, as I said, I'm not going to be building it, at least not anytime soon. That's as close as I can get to building anything for now, so I guess you get a little bit of a sense of his height. But yeah, that's basically it for now. The design of the figure is quite nice. Hasbro have done a great job with the actual overall execution of the figure. There's not a whole lot of paint applications in spots that you might want them, but that's kind of to be expected these days. She does have these kind of little squiggly lines as deco throughout the entirety of the figure, with the exception of her face and on the gold armor pieces there. You can kind of see the little squiggles all over, and it looks good. I think a little bit of a dry brush or a bit of a black wash would have kind of helped to bring out that sculpt and really make it pop in terms of design, but it looks pretty good overall even without that. I quite like her headpiece. When I first saw it at the shops, I thought it looked a little bit brutish. She looks a little bit like a succubus or something like that. Whatever floats your boat, I suppose. I like it. It's kind of grown on me. She looks cool, and I think it's definitely a nice overall executed figure in terms of design. Now, the articulation is okay. It does have the double jointed elbows that we've all been wanting for female figures for so long. But what it does have in some aspects of articulation, it's actually missing in others. So one of the biggest issues that I have with her is you cannot raise her head any higher than it is. That is as high as it's going to go. That's as forward as it's going to go down. So if she's standing up high, looking down menacingly, that might work for you. But she is unable to move her head any more than that. The hairpiece is a softer plastic, but it's not pliable enough that you can move it back without much force. And I feel like if you moved it back hard enough, you'd probably separate the hairpiece from the head, which I'm not willing to do. One other thing of articulation that is severely lacking is she has no torso articulation whatsoever. She cannot swivel, and her chest articulation is pretty much non-existent. She can't move back or forward any more than about 1 millimeter, and that is severely disappointing if you're wanting to get her into some more battle dynamic poses. If you had her kind of crouched down like this, you know, she's not going to be able to bend over and kind of emphasize that kind of pose. That's severely disappointing, and that's something that you should be aware of. Now, I don't know if this is a quality control issue with this particular figure or if it's going to affect everything, but her left shoulder will not rotate at all. I've heated it up with a nice warm bath for her. I'm not really willing to kind of push it more than that because it's not my figure, but even if it was my figure, I'd be very scared about breaking it right out of the packaging, which has happened before. I'm sure it's happened to you guys too. It sucks. You don't want to buy a figure and have it break right away, especially if it's not for you. So it's not this little rubber shoulder part that's hindering the articulation. That's there and that's pliable enough to move back, but the arm will not rotate. It will not move back. It won't move up. This one has no problem at all. You can do a full 360 there. You can move it out. You know, she's ready to do a power stance on this part, but it is not happening at all whatsoever for her left arm, and that's something that you need to be aware of. Again, I don't know if it's just this particular figure or if it's going to affect everything, but I definitely recommend heating it up out of the packaging, as I do with most figures, especially females, because in my experience, they usually snap at the feet and sometimes at the arms, but the double jointed aspect here is definitely going to help with things like that. And it's great to see that she's got the double jointed elbows. It doesn't do squat for her on this arm because I can't move it, but you know, she can kind of reach over and scratch her shoulder from there because her right arm is working. So that's just something that you need to be aware of. Again, I don't know if it's going to be every figure, but it's definitely this figure. The legs kick out this far forward. They have double jointed knees, and they definitely have a boot rotation, ankle rotation there, with peg holes on the bottom of her feet, so you can stand them up into a base if you like. Her arms do a full 360, or at least this one does, moves up and down. She's kind of in a half-ready battle stance, you know, she's kind of amping herself up. But aside from the lousy articulation with the head and the chest, and I'm not sure if I should count this one as a bad piece of articulation or not, because it could just be an isolated event. But with this particular figure, I was not able to rotate this arm at all, and that's severely disappointing. And I want you to be aware of that. And before I forget to mention, she does also have wrist articulation, as you just kind of basic up and down wrist articulation for both hands. This hand is open. I guess you can kind of rest the end of her spear or the staff into the hand there. But because I'm not able to rotate this arm, I can't really get it in a kind of nice dynamic battle stance. But she definitely does have wrist articulation. And here is Proxima Midnight standing next to the Taskmaster that I reviewed yesterday, getting a bit of a size comparison. Proxima stands at about 19 centimeters, which is around 7.5 inches. And as expected with the Bucky Cap mold, Taskmaster is just over 16 centimeters, which is about 6 inches, 6.2 inches or so. So she is quite a tall figure. I'm expecting the Thanos to be quite tall as well once it's actually finished. The head is obviously going to add a little bit more height, but you can see that, you know, he's a tall guy, and Proxima is going to be quite a tall soldier to go along with that Thanos. Here's a height comparison with Proxima against a few other figures. We've got Jane Foster Thor and Invisible Girl for the comic, and we have Jessica Jones and Hela from the MCU. And you can see that Proxima is a lot taller than all of these figures, even taller than Hela, which I believe was the tallest female figure up until now. She's officially been dethroned in that aspect. It's great to see that Hasbro have given the double jointed elbows. I'm willing to bet the reason why is because she is a significantly taller and bigger character overall. There are lots of other characters that would have greatly benefited from the double jointed elbow treatment, like She-Hulk and Thundra, and a few other of those kind of larger female characters. Hopefully this is a trend that Hasbro continue going forward, because it's definitely a welcome change, and I'm not the only one who thinks that. And here's Proxima again against a few male figures, again a couple MCU and a few comic. Tried to get a few different size ones to give you, again, a sense of scale. You've got the Gladiator Hulk Build-A-Figure on the left of her, and it's a lot taller than her, obviously. I believe the Thanos is likely to be around that size as well. And you can see, obviously, she towers over Rocket Raccoon and Bucky Cap and the homemade Spider-Man as well. To give you a bit of an idea, I think she's definitely going to fit very well into your cinematic universe display. Again, though, most likely in a static position that she currently is in now, because she does have a bit of lacking articulation in the torso area. Ultimately, I think Hasbro have done a great job with this figure. There definitely are pros and cons. The biggest pro, of course, being the double articulated elbows, which is definitely a much needed and hopefully continuing change that Hasbro will do with female legends. Toy Biz did them. There's no reason why you can't do them either. The problem is that they've taken a step forward with those elbows, but then 2 steps back by giving us lousy articulation in her torso and chest areas, as well as her neck and head. It's really not something that's terribly exciting once you take everything into consideration. As I said earlier, you're likely going to be posing her in a more neutral, static stance like what I have here. I'm sure she'll look great against the Thanos Build-A-Figure, and I must mention and stress again, I will not be reviewing the Thanos Build-A-Figure anytime soon, as I do not have all the parts to him. Again, I tried to get her in a bit more of a dynamic pose, but I really wasn't able to do much with that arm kind of stuck in place and the lack of chest articulation, so I settled for her beating the crap out of Spider-Man instead. I doubt we'll see this particular scene in the film, or if we do, I'm sure Spider-Man will be wearing a different costume. And again, I just want to mention, I don't have all the other figures in this wave, so unfortunately, there will not be any reviews for the new Iron Spider, the new Iron Man, or the new Captain America, because I don't have them, and nor will there be any reviews for King Cobra, because the one that I did have in my possession has been sent off to somebody else at this point. There might be a review for Songbird, but I can't promise that just right this now. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this video. I appreciate your time. As I said earlier, if you have any comments or questions, please leave them below, and I'll be more than happy to get back to you later on. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Enjoy your day.